Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, not juice. It is July the 25th, 2023, and today the topic is double standards. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I hope that you all had a magnificent Monday. Mine was just fine. Yeah, mine was good overall, man. I can't complain, y'all. It was kind of a chill day for your girl. Um, I did everything I set out to do. Um, I started to prepare mentally about some things that I possibly need to be doing on my quote unquote slow days. Um, so that's something I need to start challenging myself, you know what I'm saying? Um, so that's one thing. But had good conversations, whatnot. I usually check in with my homegirl on Mondays and whatnot. So that got done. I was actually really looking forward to it and stuff. And so, I feel like the conversation went well. Um, we both see that we both, have things to work on and do. Um, but it's exciting. It's exciting the things that are in fruition. And then, last night it was a lovely evening. Me and my husband had I would say our family, but we kind of locked ourselves away and whatnot. So it was nice overall in regards to just talking and communicating as well. But yeah. Magnificent Monday was had by yours truly. I hope y'all had one as well. So I wake up this Tuesday morning, y'all. I want to say I woke up early and I made a note of the time, but I guess by the time I went to sleep and then woke back up again, I didn't really pay attention at the time. I listened to the prayer meditation, which was all about what was it about this morning? It was about generosity and things of that nature. And then ultimately I just started to scroll, right? Just on social media. And then basically at some point, I came across a Facebook friend of mine sharing, I guess, some thoughts about, I guess, a song and some lyrics, and I guess how, um, they felt offended and things of that nature. And then obviously, again, when you put something on social media, you're opening the doors for other people to share their opinions about whatever your opinion is. And so that's what people was doing, and it's just very interesting because on one hand, it's like, oh, well, people are like, oh, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about this, X, Y, and Z. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I guess I always try to look from both sides of the coin, and to get an understanding, right? Um, Actually, I was talking to my husband about this yesterday. I was like, I don't know if you noticed about your wife by now, but I mean, usually when it comes to different situations and scenarios, I'm playing both ideas in my head. Like, what's the best thing that could happen and what's the worst thing that could happen? And that keeps me mentally prepared either way, um, and everything like that. And so, um, I guess the conversation kind of felt that way as I was like reading the people's opinions and whatnot. Um, But ultimately, that's where my inspiration for double standard came from this morning because, I get that, again, people can be offended by things that people say and put in music and all this type of stuff. And let's not get into the mainstream media and all of that, right? Again, people obviously use their talents and gifts for evil. You know what I mean? It's clear. It's one of those things that we can clearly see and hear, as we take in content and music and all those type of things. But it is very interesting that, again, when people bring up a point where it's like, well, let's break down all music then. And then people are like, oh, no, you don't want to do that because, oh, we're talking about this in particular. It just goes back and forth. But anyway, it reminded me of this idea of double standards. Um, and the interesting thing is, as I was studying this morning, I realized that there's a lot of phrases that are reminding me of, again, this whole double standards. One of the most popular ones we may all know: rules for thee and not for me. Have anybody heard that? um, I feel like our government is playing by that rule, that phrase, and everything like that. So it's coming from the top all the way down, right? We have this idea of, yeah, rules for thee and not for me, right? I can make offensive music, right? But you can't make offensive music or whatever, you know what I mean? And not trying to be taken up for people that make offensive music. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying this is what, seeing that inspired this conversation about double standards. And so, I mean, let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Let's see what the Bible has to say about double standards, as well as what I came across this morning. So I did look up the definition of double standard, and it says a rule or principle which is unfairly applied in different ways to different people or groups. So yeah, rules for thee and not for me, right? I mean, I think it's self-explanatory. I really don't have anything else to add to that. I mean, as I was looking at that definition today, I ended up looking at another one, but I don't know. I didn't write it down, so obviously it wasn't. It didn't stand out to me enough to share it, or whatever. But um, yeah. Now, so when I looked up the definition, I looked up verses, and then I went to GodQuestions.org, and I noticed that every time I tried to put in double standards, and then what really came to my heart and mind as I was thinking about double standards was the verse talking about no respecter of persons and things like that. But when I tried to put those things into GodQuestions.org today, I didn't really get anything. So I don't know. Not to say that the Bible don't have nothing to say about it. I just, maybe people haven't had questions about double standards, or at least maybe I didn't find, or I didn't think of the way that people might have asked the question. Maybe that could be the thing as well. But we know that this is taking place, right, in life, right? People do this all the time. They have double standards. They're like, again, rules for thee, not for me. Grace and mercy for me, but not for you. It's played in so many different scenarios where I think we got an understanding overall of what it means. But is this how we're supposed to live? Is this what we're supposed to do? Right? Are we supposed to put standards and apply like this principles and rules and things like that on others that we wouldn't want to be applied to us? I guess that's the question today. Now, short answer, I would say that the answer most likely is no. Like, you're not supposed to place rules and standards on people that you can't take on yourself, or that you wouldn't want to take on yourself, and things of that nature. But anyway, let's see what the Bible has to say. So as I went deeper about this, y'all, I pretty much just went to openbible.info, plugged in double standard and double standards. And these are the verses that stood out to me this morning. Proverbs 20:10 says, unequal weights and unequal measures are both alike, an abomination to the Lord. So it seems to me, just this one verse is telling me that, the Lord don't like, unequal weights and unequal measures. Don't seem like the Lord likes the whole, again, rules for thee and not for me. And I think that the disciples, they had to get an understanding of this, because again, the God of the Israelites and all this stuff was only, I guess, like they say, for the Jews and stuff like that. And they had to get an understanding that, no, this what Jesus did is not just for one group, it's for everybody. And that evens the playing field when it comes to humanity. I know we all kind of separate ourselves. We all kind of think that one group is better than another group, and X, Y, and Z. We do it to ourselves all the time, but in God's eyes, we're all, the same. Like, no male, no female, no hierarchy of people or any of that type of stuff. But again, we don't operate in that way. We do the complete opposite. We like to think that this race is better than that race, right? But then on the flip side, if another race say, well, this race is better than that race, then we offended. It's the double standards that it's just, if you don't want it done and said to you, then don't do it, say it to somebody else. Like, I mean, it's the golden rule, right? Do unto others what you would have them do unto you. But we forget that for some reason. I don't understand. It's like we don't apply it to ourselves, but we are saying, oh yes, do unto others, you over there. But when it comes to you having to do unto others, then you forget about that. You don't know how to do that. You got double standards. um Obviously this isn't good. It says it's an abomination to the Lord. um so hey, I mean, just to reiterate this, just in case y'all think I'm just talking out here, Romans 2:11, it says, for God shows no partiality. I mean, y'all can go deeper and look up partiality if you need to, but basically my understanding of this is that, again, we are all equal in God's eyes. Like, again, we've all sinned and fallen short. None of us are perfect or anything like that. That's why he came through Jesus to make a way, you know what I mean? Because none of us could do it. So for any of us to stand on our high horses, right, and pretend like we're better than the next person, based on whatever we want to say, maybe look, our hair, our skin, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's well, the word that's in my mind right now is pointless. It's pointless to live like that, and to again live with these double standards, because it just causes conflict. We've seen all in history what happens when one group put themselves over another, right? Or when certain rules and principles are applied to one group and not another, like, and all these different things. And so, I mean, sure, we're all different. We all can receive things differently and things like that. And no one's going to be absolutely the same. God made us all unique, and, we're beautifully and wonderfully made, and things are like that. And again, everybody doesn't even receive the gospel. So that's a whole nother thing as well. Like, um, and the beautiful thing about God is that he doesn't force it on us either. He's given us all the choice and the free will. Unfortunately, in my opinion, like, this is me and my little humble opinion. I mean, just because, again, we see what people do with their free will, and everybody don't do good with their free will. We see that. But again, the fact that he doesn't force himself on us, why are we forcing our ways on others? And again, it's just very interesting, man, especially in this season, right? Because people say this type of stuff all the time. Like, even for me, for example, to be online, somebody might say, oh, you're forcing your belief on somebody else. And, when really all I'm doing is just sharing, and anybody that wants to receive it, they can receive it. If you don't want to receive it, you don't have to receive it. Like, you can pass it on by. Like, I'm not forcing nobody to listen. I'm not forcing nobody to look at this. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, but on the flip side, there's movements and things out here that is forcing stuff, and then they pretending like they not. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, it's just it's the double standard. Rule for thee and not for me. So, matter of fact, I came across this morning. I didn't know I was going to talk about it, but here it is. I shared with you guys maybe a year or so ago that I was thinking about getting on a platform to teach a class, but I wanted it to be like a Bible study for the kids. And I get it, and all through the advertisements of this particular platform, they're telling us you can teach whatever you want to teach, and come on, sign up and be a teacher and teach whatever you want to teach. And then I log in, I sign up, and I get approved and all this stuff. And then I see in the fine print that, oh, it only can be secular things. So you can't. So I guess I could teach the Bible, but I had to figure out how to teach it in a secular way. Yet I see an advertisement for particular movement that I don't think is kid friendly, because it's about sex. And and that I saw a couple of classes being taught under that. And so that's cool. But me teaching the Bible study ain't cool. Like, that's again the double standard. That's what I'm talking about. Like, if you're going to have a platform and say people can teach, then let people teach what they want to teach, especially if you're going to allow people to teach things that are truly centered around sex. Like, I mean, and sex preferences and things of that nature. If you're going to allow groups like that, then allow me to have the Bible study class too, and make it an even playing field where people can choose for their kids what they want their kid to be in. Instead of you platform saying that, okay, we're going to remove or not allow, biblical teachings, but we'll allow this secular teaching to be on the platform, but not biblical teaching. Like, at least make it even Steven, let people choose X, Y, and Z. God lets us choose. But instead of that, right? Instead of doing it God's way in any capacity, we like to put, again, rules and principles in place to censor one group or another, right, and not the others. And again, that's, I mean, we already see that's an abomination to the Lord. He doesn't show partiality in that way. And I mean, anyway, let me share another verse. Let me share another verse this morning. So Leviticus 24 and 22, it says, you shall have the same rule for the sojourner and for the native, for I am the Lord your God. I mean, it is what it is, and it says what it says. We should have the same rules. Whether we are natives or sojourners, whether we are black or white, whether we are, man or woman, we should have the same rules. But we don't. We have double standards in this life. And so, you guys can go deeper about all of this. I only have like one verse or one section that's in the Go Deeper section today, and it's Deuteronomy 25, 13 through 15. Reflect on those verses and let them marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. I guess ultimately the juice today is, again, this idea of rules for thee and not for me. This idea of double standards is not pleasing in God's eyes. We shouldn't do it. And I mean, like I said, ultimately that's the juice. There was another phrase that goes with this, but if the Lord brings it back to my mind, I'll say it. But let's get to the Bible verse of today, y'all. So that is Romans 15 and 4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Unfortunately, I did not remember that quote. I'm sitting here trying to remember it. I already said rules for thee, not for me. I said even Stephen, even though that was oh Lord, am I gonna remember it? I don't know, y'all. It's early in the morning. Anyway, sorry about that. Maybe I'll say it on the after show. Y'all have a wonderful day, podcast people. I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. There you go. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice. I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all those wonderful things. Yeah, I can't remember what that last quote was. It's just another like little catchy phrase that people say. Maybe it's not important. But anyway, I hope y'all have a terrific Tuesday. I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Not too much on my schedule today, just a little bit. I'm supposed to record an episode of GSL, I believe. Oh no, I'm supposed to be on someone else's show. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. But yeah, I guess I'll let y'all know tomorrow, whatever happens. But either way, I hope y'all have a great day. Bye.